We're talking about entrances, first impressions. What do you see? What do you feel? And in any home, it is so vitally important that we get the right plants, the right look, and the right style. So what do we need to take into account? First of all, the biggest mistake that people make is that they choose the pots too small for the entrance. So before you go out, make sure you've measured the height of your door. It's really important that you get that scale and proportion correct. And of course, you want it to be welcoming. You're looking for symmetry, so you're wanting that balance. And the second mistake that a lot of people make is they make the entrances too narrow. Remember, ideally, you want two people to be able to walk side by side up to your entrance. That gives you the main aura, the energy, and that welcome look that we're wanting. So how can we get it, and how can we kind of trick things into getting height and volume without necessarily buying huge pots? So come with me and I'll show you some tricks of the trade. So folks, a quick way of getting volume right without having to buy a really big pot is by using standards. And standards is a plant that looks like this. And take a look at these guys over here. Now, this is a beaut. This is a Duranta. Now, this one is called Gold Mine, and it has the beautiful green inside it. Very quick growing, easy. Yes, where it is very cold, folks, you're going to have to cover it up just with some frost netting. But generally, all over South Africa, this plant will be as happy as Larry. And immediately, look, we're already getting that height. And that's what we're talking about. We're faking the height. And it's the simplest, quickest, easiest way to be able to get that. So before we get this guy going, let's sort out our potting mixture. And this is the potting mixture that you're going to use for simply everything, okay? First of all, I've got a bucket here just of plain, ordinary potting soil. Now, I want to pimp it. So let's make sure that they have got everything that they need. Handful or two of organic pellets, and then 1 or 2 handfuls of bone meal, and then some coconut peat. All right, the final thing I want to show you are these water-wise crystals, and I really dig them. They are going to change people's lives and gardeners' lives. Now have a look at it. You see, it's like this fine, fine white powder. But watch here. When I add a bit of water to it, you see it turns into this amazing jelly. Just swells up. So when the plants need the water, they just simply absorb it back from these granules. So this would need about 2 of these scoops, and then we just mix it in. Okay, so potting soil is ready, pimped and good to go. Let's talk about the pot. Now, I was never a fan of plastic pots, I'll be completely honest. However, thank goodness for new technology. They've brought out some really cool ones that are UV resistant, they won't shatter in the sunlight, and they also deal with the drainage issues that I've had with them for many, many years. So that's basically what your drainage pebbles would do normally. And there's a little well, so your water can actually sit in there. There's your little overflow pipe, if I can call it. Now, if you had this pot inside and you didn't want it to overflow and come out the bottom, then you simply leave that little plug in there. If it's outside, as we're gonna have this one, then you simply just pull the plug out, and then the excess water then just pours out of here. Okay, so we take this baby, let's pop it back, and then we can start putting in some scoopfuls of our potting mixture. Okay guys, I filled the pot up halfway, and all I'm doing is firming the soil down a bit, and now we get to put in our center plant. Now, you'll see that there's a stake attached to this plant. Folks, don't take the stake off immediately. This plant needs to first send its roots out, become more stable, let the stem thicken up a bit, because very often we take it out, the wind comes along and snaps the plant off, boop, right at the head, and basically that's your standard going to heaven. Okay, that baby is in. Now I'm going to work with the plants around it. And I found this ground cover, low-growing plant that I just love. It's called Alternanthera Black Knight, and Alternantheras are really quick-growing, a great plant, and this is a relatively new plant that's on the market, and for me, it's a winner. Now what we do is fill in the gaps, and folks, please, when you're doing this, be gentle. So pull the plants back, open it up, and then use your scoop. Finally, just use the back end of your trowel, firm the soil in. And one important thing, folks, is this is what I want to show you. Come in real close here and have a look. you see how the soil level is just below the pot? It's not right level here. So when we're watering, it doesn't kind of overflow, and that is a critical thing that a lot of us get wrong when we're planting up containers. So there we have it. Beautiful Duranta gold mine, Alternanthera, looking stunning. Let's get the other one planted up and show you what they look like. And there you go, folks, two beautiful standards next to each other. They're just looking for the right entranceway now to finish it off. So let's go and find a spot for this baby. So here's another cool option that you can use for a front entrance. And these pots, the tall, slender guys, work brilliantly. In these pots, I've set them in place because once these are planted, baby, you ain't gonna move them. I've already put some drainage pebbles in, and now comes the trick. So if we had to fill this whole thing up with our pimp potting soil mix, sure, we're gonna go through about 7 to 10 bags of potting soil. So we do this. I've got a piece of polystyrene, so this is gonna make a horrible noise. You're gonna break it up, and if you can't get hold of this, use 2-litre plastic bottles. And what you're gonna do is, we're going to use the polystyrene to take up the volume, because the plant doesn't need this whole thing to grow. The plant only needs about that much to grow in, and that should do it. Now all we need to do is put in our potting soil. It'll take up those cavities, and we've saved a whole lot. And now for the look that I'm wanting, which is very clean, very clinical, I'm going with this beautiful indigenous aloe cooperi. It's a grassland aloe, so it really can cope with whatever you throw at it. So let's put this baby in nice and snug. Oh, fantastic. Firm it down a bit. Okay, be careful here with your angle. I personally would not want it flat on. It looks just a bit too rigid. So let's take him at a slight little curve here. And all we're gonna do is fill in with the remainder of our potting soil using our scoop. Paintbrush always does the trick. And to finish this off, just with that slick look that I'm wanting, I've got a few ornamental pebbles. Simply stunning. And that works with the volume that we're working with.